day, everyone. Progress in any area of life doesn't come without a struggle or a fight. Doing good at school, sport, university, or at your job, it takes effort. It's a struggle. It's a fight against laziness and complacency and mediocrity. Now, holiness doesn't come without a struggle either. We are in a battle for holiness. We are at war. The question is, who is the enemy? Now, while we have an enemy from without, namely the devil, we have another enemy as well. An enemy from within, you, your flesh. And so let's consider three things regarding our battle for holiness against our flesh. In the first place, let's consider the reality of the flesh. The flesh can be defined as our unredeemed human nature, our corrupted humanness that is still liable to temptation and sin. Outside of Christ, we are enslaved to sin. Our flesh reigns freely. When we are saved, we are transferred into a new kingdom, and sin has no more dominion over us, as we saw yesterday. Our flesh is dethroned, and Christ is now the Lord of our lives. Our old nature that was oriented towards sin is changed into a new nature where we now have a new orientation towards Christ, towards what is pleasing to Him. But the flesh is still present in us. Listen to Romans 7 verse 18. For I know that nothing good dwells in me, that is, in my flesh. For I have the desire to do what is right, but not the ability to carry it out. Paul later on in Romans 7 verse 20 refers to the flesh as sin that dwells within me. To fight this war successfully then, we need to know how our enemy operates. Let's consider then in the second place the operation of the flesh. Now, the headquarters of the flesh is our hearts. Mark 7 verse 21 to 23 says, For from within, out of the heart of man come evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, coveting, wickedness, deceit, sensuality, envy, slander, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within, and they defile a person. You see, and therefore we need to ask God to search our hearts. We need to expose our hearts to Scripture as much as possible. The Holy Spirit is then the one who enables us to make an accurate discernment of our hearts by applying the Bible to our hearts and exposing our sin. The target of our flesh is our desires. In temptation, the war is between our desires and our reason. And it's when our desire overcomes our reason that our wills are influenced to act in a sinful way. James 1 verse 13 to 15 teaches, Let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, and He Himself tempts no one. But each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. Then desire, when it is conceived, gives birth to sin. And sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. You see, all temptation comes from within us. You are the source of all your temptations. And it comes as your flesh aims at your desires in order to lure and entice you into sin, into doing what you think will make you happy. Because the strategy of our flesh is deception. To win against our reason, the flesh then presents sin through our desires in such a way that we are sold on the idea that this sin will actually be good for me, or that I deserve this, or I have been so faithful this one time would really not matter so much. We do sin because we think it will be good, fun, and profitable. We are deceived because we are not watchful. And so therefore, lastly, let's consider the conquering of the flesh. Here are then three summary terms to help us in moments of temptation. Reckon. You need to consider the fact that you are dead to sin and alive to God. Remember. Think about the consequences of your sin. And lastly, run. Run away from sin. Flee from sin. Run to God in Bible and prayer. Run to His people in fellowship and counsel. If you want to conquer your flesh, you need to reckon, remember, and run. And so may we fight the fight to become holy as God is holy. Amen.